Okay, so this is an interesting hand. So we open and get flattered by Hercules.
Yeah, this is poor as well. I think this is a C bet, and I check fold. I think this is where
why do you feel it's a C bet?
I would say I'm a bit conflicted now because I think PO likes to check here, doesn't it? But I just think it could also be a check call. I just don't think it's a check fold.
Well, I think it depends. You triple it off here, Vinny?
Mm.
any spot, any situation.
Do you
like he's not going to have big pairs, I guess. So
he just lost all in against you one hand ago, right?
Yeah.
So he's probably like spike calling pre-flop wider than he would normally too, I'd imagine. He's probably gonna like if he has like Jack 9 suited or Queen 9 suited. Generally, if he's just gone from like he just lost jacks against sixes, so he feels like fuck this guy. You know, he's gonna have like a few more of those combos than normal. I would just bet the flop for protection value. Yeah. If you bet he's not going to fold like Jack 10 of diamond, well, you have a diamond, but Jack 10 of spades, Jack 10 of clubs, Ace 5 suited, Ace 3 suited, Ace 10 off. So it's just a value bet, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I really hate this hand.
Wow.
It goes check.
Yeah, I normally check that, but clearly shouldn't be doing that.
I'd value bet the turn as well. I mean, he never has sixes plus at this point. Mm-hmm. And if he has like, let's say he has like Queen 10 offsuit, there's zero reason to allow him to hit Queen or 10. And your range really looks like ace high, so he's never going to stop bluffing turn with Queen 10 or something. If he was going to bluff, he would just bluff the flop. So I think turn, I would just bet one big blind or two big blinds. Just pure protection.
Nice.
Yeah.
Would you bet a similar amount on the flop? Like a couple of big blinds on the flop?
Like the fifth pot. Quarter pot. I hate this. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
He just doesn't like what's he saying he has, you know, like it just makes no sense from him, I don't think.
Yeah.
We can improve as well. If he has like somehow has ace free, we can still improve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't like that hand at all. Okay. We've got to start winning some hands at some point, surely.
Well, you just doubled with sixes versus jacks, and then you just have a slow
game's
death.
Pretty good, mate. Hang on, just go back to there. Was that 2x?
Oh, sounds fun.
Oh yeah, I skipped over it. So
yeah, I mean, I flat here, but by how this session's gone, it sounds like this is going to be a fold. Going to get ourselves in some awkward spots.
Mm-hmm.
But normally I'm flicking this in just because 13% equity or whatever.
Lol pot odds, basically.
Yeah.
No, but it's really interesting to think about the situations post flop where you how comfortable are you going to be on when you have one pair.
Yeah. I've got a feeling I might fold this. I feel like it's for the same reasons as I had said previously. Like it's going to be very hard to realise even when we hit the flop and that guy's opening off of 20 bigs. We're not going to find many good situations.
I would say 9-6 is better than 10-8. First of all, it's a cheaper price, and second of all, the button's going to have more 10x hands than 9x. So when you flop top pair, it's going to be better for you. So he's probably going to flat like King 10 off, Queen 10 off, but he's never going to flat like King 9 off. I don't think it's like the cutoff point is basically like 10x hands. So like he's going to call more 10x suited hands than he's going to call 9x. He's going to call more 10x offsuit hands than 9x. It's like 9-6 is going to perform way better than 10-8, even though 10-8 feels like a much stronger hand.
So we're just not dominated very much.
Yeah, or not as much. Yeah.
Not as much. Yeah.
So you're saying that you would prefer a call here than a fold? Yeah. Okay.
It's better than 10-8. Which is really interesting.
Never thought of it like that actually.
How short we here? This is like board. I feel like I'd be happily persuaded this is bad, but I don't think I'd flat any sort of shallower than this. It might be better.
This is one of the spots I struggle with as well.
We had a discussion on this the other day.
Yeah.
I feel like this is probably a little bit shallow, but I'm hoping Pat's going to say it's just about all right, but it's probably not.
I think if I'm on the button with this hand, with this stack depth, I'm calling. But I think in the cutoff, I just think it's just a little bit too far around. So I think I end up folding. I think actually jamming is going to be better than calling here, personally.
Okay.
Probably.
I would say we have to be wary of the stacks behind us. Like if there are 3 15 to 20 big blind stacks, there's a higher chance that someone's going to squeeze jam. I mean, you got slight protection, I guess, because you're playing against middle position 1 and not like the hijack. But yeah, I think the call is probably okay.
I'd definitely add that if I felt there was good regs behind me, I'd be much less likely to do it. I probably would not and never do this.
I mean,
well.
we
even
can
if it's
flat
good
with
reg,
aces and
like-
kings here, right?
What are you worried about? Like, let's say I'm in the small blind. Like, what am I going to do? You know, like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to just go crazy against you or something.
But if there's 3 20 big blind stacks behind, right, there's a higher chance of somebody.
And then, like, people are
jamming.
going to be like somewhat scary. Like, it looks strong, right? Like, again, you can always flat weaker hands because you have stronger hands in your range too. You'll have some hands like aces and kings, and you'll have some like hands like, say, king queen that you just call for whatever reason. I wouldn't be worried. You should have lots of profitable calls. If people start going crazy, then you just get to call more against their jams. I think calling's fine pre-flop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What would be your cut-off pads for like effective
Yeah,
Stack
stack?
size?
Say again?
Stack size or
It's stack size, yeah.
yeah, like probably 20 big blinds, 22 big blinds.
Yeah.
Cool.
25, I think, is like a clear call, and like less starts getting dicey. He min raised too, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. Shit.
Okay, we're changing
I've
our.
changed to 2.14 now. You have I have no idea what happens there.
I think we should see that here.
Yeah.
I think so.
I hope I do.
I agree.
Yeah, I should just be going with this. I think.
I quite like the sizing.
You
Maybe
think it's a range spot to see that?
I don't.
Well, the thing is that from his stack size, he should be jamming 9s, 7s, ace king, ace queen, ace jack. So, and we have a ton of ace x hands in our range here, plus all the strong hands. I think and he just has a whole lot of absolutely nothing here. So I think it's a range spot, yeah.
Cool.
But we've definitely had a different opinion from our guest tonight. So I don't know. I feel like we're getting to that spot where I would definitely do this, but now I'm sort of starting to second guess it because I'm not sure that Pads would do this. So, and I think we need to be confident in what we're saying. It's good to have this debate.
I'd probably not use the size, and at least I would either. I mean, what is it? 40%?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I
Go
probably
smaller.
haven't bet like 40% in like a long time. I just generally with 40% you don't achieve much because you generally like you want to go either smaller or bigger. You know, like
Go 30.
size and with your range or with a hand doesn't really achieve much. Like let's say you're betting like exploitatively here and you bet 2.56. Why not bet 2.66 or 2.76 or whatever? You know, like generally you can scale up and go for a bigger sizing, or you want to scale down and go for a smaller sizing that you can get away with. This kind of Midland sizing, like you just don't really achieve too much from using it, you know. So I'd go for a bigger size.
Would you bet range though for a
You can have two
smaller
sizes.
sizing?
Two
Yeah.
sizes, big size, yeah.
Yeah.
Hands like kings and queens, they want to go into a smaller size.
Yeah. Okay, we have
Are you
another
going to defend this one, dude?
another opportunity.
I'm on Doobie.
Oi.
Yeah, boy. Obviously busted a couple of tourneys.
I don't know if I got to this point, but I've got a feeling this might not be the greatest hand either. But carry on.
All right, so 2 big blind bet. We have 2 overs to the 9. We have a gut shot.
I think we can float.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's cool.
We have very few. I mean, we never have 9s or 7s, right? We could occasionally have aces to flat the big blind. What are we raising for value if we were ever going to raise here? Like
9-7, ace-9,
yeah,
and ace-7.
ace-7, yeah. But if we're raising this hand, obviously there's there's 12 combos in this hand plus 4 combos potentially Jack-10 suited. We're going to be starting to find too many raises on this board, and there's probably better hands.
Yeah, but are you raising 10-8 to get it in?
Probably
Here. Are you raise folding that? Because that seems like a bit of a waste as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to bluff something like 5-6 suited or something like that?
Yeah.
Or this hand.
Or this hand?
I think this hand's just going to work well as a flat. And then...
I feel like if we had, if it was the 9 of spades and we had the backdoor flush draw, like gut shot and backdoor flush draw is typically one I might make a light check raise. I don't know at this stat depth whether it's. Sorry, Gaz.
It's all right.
So maybe like a 5-6 of hearts, 5-6 of diamonds, 5-6 of spades. Those type of lower hands, lower gut shot hands with
Do you think it's bad? Do you think it's bad to play this spot as just a call, or should you have raises here?
Well, I think when you check raise and the guy continues, he's going to obviously have a lot of ace-X, and then suddenly we're going to be in a spot where we're trying to get an ace to fold.
We would never try to get an ace to fold.
Yeah, exactly. So if we're trying to bluff, like,
you get
it
a lot
doesn't
of
make
fold
sense.
equity on the flop from like overcards, right? Like if you have 5-6, you get king queen, king jack, queen jack to all fold. With 10 jack, it's quite nice because you can, when you bluff, you get king jack to fold, king 10 to fold, queen 10 to fold, queen jack to fold, but you also unblock the underpairs like 5s and 6s, which are gonna raise fold, or bet fold, sorry. So making like a small check raise to like 4.5 big blinds, you get quite a lot of merits. You get all the hands which dominate you to fold, so like you clear your outs basically, and you get these kind of low cards, the low underpairs to fold. You block his best ace-X hands or some of the best ace-X hands he could have. You have outs to the nuts. If he has like let's say he has like a 9, let's say he has something like 9, king 9 or something. When you improve to a 10 or jack, you just win. When you have 5-6 suited and you improve to a 5, you lose against 9x or 7x. So 10 jack generally will be a little bit better, I think.
So do we want to be check raising all of our jack 10 combos? Like, how do we balance that?
Yeah, I would be aggressive with all of them, yeah.
And you advocate like a really small sizing because you're basically folding out a lot of the stuff that just can't continue. And because I feel like I'd probably go too big if I do check raise.
When you value check raising, like you don't need to go so big. The SPR is already low, so you don't need to set it up to get it all in on the river or something. Like we're just going to play 2 street games, so if we make it 5 big blinds, there's going to be 15 in the pot, and we're going to have like 19. We can just easily shove the turn. So yeah, we can just make it. We can just make it really small.
And do you agree that 10-8 is a call because you don't want to be raise folding that hand?
Yeah, probably. But then again, he shouldn't really do that much shoving with ace-X, but people do. But yeah, I guess your price you'll have like 30%. You'll almost be getting the right price to just call it off. So yeah, maybe it's fine to just check raise, get it in as well. But generally, I'd probably just call. Probably just call.
Oh wow. Okay. I feel like I would normally play this as a call, but I like the idea of having this as a check raise, and I think I probably wouldn't size it as small as Pad says, but I can totally on board with the arguments why it should be a small size, and if you can do that. I don't really like the fold.
Yeah, that's like the worst of the 3 options there, do you think?
I think so. Okay. Open ace 5 suited.
I don't know if I did that. Did I?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Do we have a limp here? Just throwing it out there.
I've started limping in some of these spots. Not well. I really want to start pads.
It's starting to become a trend in poker now, or at least in high stakes poker.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to limp in a situation of 20 big blinds. Ace 5, you can limp or raise. It depends. It's fine to raise. It's fine to limp. It's probably better to raise, actually, because with 20 big blinds, if you just raise, say, like a 30% range, then the small blind can just go in with his 20 big blinds with any 2 cards, and you won't really call off wide enough, or like any 2 reasonable cards. In this situation, no, the small blind can't just shove because he could get called by the big blind too. It's like it was like 20, 20, 20, 20. Then I'd be more inclined to have a limp in range. But when the stack sizes are more like they have bigger stack sizes, like 55, 35, then I'm going to be raising more often. You're also not going to get free bet folded. So like small blind's pretty fucked here. Like you put a lot of pressure almost on him because he can't free bet fold, he can't shove that wide, so he's forced to call a bunch. And if he calls too much, then the big blind can then punish him. So it's actually good to raise. I think I would just min raise though. Like, not too much reason to go more than a min raise here. When you do get shoved on, you just lose an extra 5% of your stack, whatever it is, or 5% of the bet. Sorry.
I think I get lazy with the preset button sometimes, and on a site I might not have that preset button. I just min open, so it's like
probably easier to just click min raise though.
Yeah, it's like habit. Yeah.
When you're 12 table impacts, are you taking in all of that information within half of a second to make the decision?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Can I just throw it out? So obviously we're starting to see more limps from various positions. Is this something that's been because of software like Monkasolver that have tried to solve pre-flop for limps, raises, and shoves off this stack size? Is that where all of this sort of knowledge is coming from?
Most people who limp just don't know why they're limping. They just limp for no reason. Like, well, they limp for a reason, but it's usually like an illogical reason.
Right.
You shouldn't really limp that much from many stack sizes. There's certain stack sizes and positions where limping is good. Like, this is a pretty good stack size and position, but people generally just they just limp it. If you don't know this spot, then it's better to just go with a raise, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would generally say don't limp would be my advice.
But are high stakes players using stuff like Monkasolver to solve it?
Yeah, there's different tools and stuff. But then again, like a lot of the information from the solvers are pretty poor because they don't take into account lots of different things. Like, for example, in like GTO land, you're supposed to raise, let's say, 36-37% in the cutoff. But if you're on the button and let's say you're using the software to work out how to play button against cutoff, which is like one of the most important situations, then everything it's telling you to do is going to be too loose because the cutoff actually in real life opens like 30%. But because you're playing against an extra like 20% range or 25% range, whatever it is, you're then told to respond looser. And then those hands which you're supposed to defend versus 37 that you don't do against 30, they start losing you a lot of money. Because you're defending too wide, because you're playing against a tighter range, etc. So generally the softwares can be very counterintuitive. Even in BitB, we don't give like any of the stuff to any of our guys. And our guys, I would say, are like very, very high level. But we've made like a conscious effort of never giving like these kind of solves to our players, and more like explaining the situation rather than what's true in GTO land, because in GTO you're supposed to play very, very loose in every situation, basically, and in reality people don't do that. So
cool,
great insight.
Yeah.
And usually when you have 20 big blinds, generally, or not generally, but quite often, you have like ICM implications too, and obviously they don't take into account like stack preservation and future equity, etc.
Very good. So this Tom Poker NL, he's a reg, right?
I don't know.
Is it interesting he's 3xing into a short stack as well?
Yeah, so I wonder if he's changed his raise size because the guy's got 8.5 back in the big blind.
Is he a reg?
I don't know.
I thought it was...
I don't recognise that name.
No, I can't imagine.
He's got a similar name to someone else.
I'm pretty sure I'm just going to fold to the 3x here.
Oh, he's a reg.
He's on pocket fives, yeah.
He's a reg, yeah, like small sticks reg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would generally think I would just fold.
Yeah.
Folding
I feel like my thoughts here like a bit shallow to be opening this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd rather open like King 5. Suited.
You say King 5?
King 5.
Mm-hmm.
Just more blockers, the hands getting in, flop more top pairs, better flush draws.
This is quite an interesting spot.
Yeah, 12 before. Is that 12 before the hand?
That's after.
No, 14. Yeah, 14. I'm just saying that it's probably more of a flat. Seems a bit scary. If you had more like 25 big blinds, this might be a jam. Probably
I
still
think
a
flatting
bit
is
loose.
just making so much money.
Yeah, I lean towards a flat even off of both of those stack sizes myself. I'm not saying that's right.
Yeah. But his range here, like his King 10 suited, etc., just going to jam that off 14 bigs, aren't they? Or they should be, rather than raise. So he's pretty polarised here.
It does look quite strong, like with hindsight, this open. I think if I was paying attention in game, I'd be very like wary of like even when we flop top pair here, like he's not even going to have ace king here, so like I'd expect him to be really strong here, but I might go with a HUD read in game, like if he's just playing a lot of hands and playing passive, like he's got some sort of wrecky sort of stats, then I'd probably defend here, but I don't even know if it's good versus like what his range potentially might be.
I mean, he can just have like king jack, queen jack off, king 9 suited, king 8 suited, 7-8 suited that he just doesn't shove.
Yeah,
those are all very reasonable hands to raise fold.
I think I'd be really concerned if he started the hand with 10 bigs as opposed to 14 bigs.
Yeah, I mean that wouldn't be a thing. I don't. If he, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
the pad sizing.
Yeah.
I'm going to check fold it. Yeah.
Easy fold.
Okay, so we do actually see a limp here.
Yeah, this is like, yeah. I don't want to say too much because I feel like Pad's going to flame me for sort of.
No.
No, I don't think you will, but I think you'll be thinking it. So I'm sort of seeing something at high stakes and just try. I feel like we just save a big blind when the small blind jams, and people don't necessarily know how to react to this. I feel like so you can like see a flop in position for cheaper. Small blind's still going to fold sometimes, and people just generally don't know how to react to it. Is sort of my reason for doing it.
I think you.
Also,
sorry,
I think
go
it's good. Well, it's good.
Yeah, I also think you raised like a point that I noticed within like our little crews. Like we watch some of the high stakes guys and we implement some of the stuff we see without perhaps fully understanding like why it's done. And I wonder I wonder if that's actually a good thing to do, or are we better just sticking with kind of the reasons why we know raising here is a strong play.
Yeah, like I said, most of the higher stakes guys like don't have a strong fundamental like theoretical approach. So like the reason why they're doing something is because of like some kind of like table dynamics, or because of how a certain player responds to certain things, or so yeah, it would be I think that's a very dangerous way to do things. Yeah, usually it's just about logic. I think what Doobie said is logical. I would limp too for what it's worth. It's good.
I'm pleased with this.
Got one right, Doobie.
Yeah, eventually.
An hour and 25 minutes, dude.
Dude, look, it's save one with blinds.
I think you call it off here. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, I was hoping we're going to get a shove.
Do you have a jam there, Pads with twos?
No, not really.
Sixes? Is that you like bottom of your range?
Yeah. There's a few more raise folds, like more ace deuce, ace three, ace four stuff.
Oh, so you would 3-bet fold off 17 bigs?
No, I would never 3-bet fold.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Would you ever 3-bet fold up with 25 bigs?
Sure, but most likely not very often.
What did we start? Yeah, 14. I think this is just a rip, although his sizing is somewhat concerning for me.
Yeah, I think we should check shove, given our stack size, and we can make him fold out like king queen and stuff like that, king jack.
Yeah, his sizing's. What do you think about sizing though? He's gone for like over half pot.
It's concerning.
Yeah,
but I think
some people just might have one C-bet size in this, just like their standard. They just don't.
You could also be sizing bigger so that you don't like check shove very often too, right? Like if he has he may just be like bluffing, trying to make you not shove something like a
2x hand, or
like encourage me to shove over two big blind bet.
Good thing is that from this position, he's less likely to have much 9x. Like if the cutoff size like this, becomes a bit dicey. You know, he's gonna have like 9-6 suited and Jack 9 off and stuff like that. But from these positions, don't have to be that concerned. He doesn't have much 9x, so like if he has 10s plus, then okay, nice hand, you know, it's okay.
It's just a clear shove, isn't it? And I'm pretty sure I don't. Yeah,
but we can't shove all our 7s, right?
Well, like it says, like what 9x.
Probably wouldn't play your whole range as a shove here, probably. Like it's probably one of those boards where like which hands are really incentivized to call. You know, like if you have a straight draw, you want to just get it in. If you have a flush draw, you want to get it in. If you have a 9 or a 7 or a deuce, you most likely want to get it in. If you have aces pre-flop, probably happy to get it in. Block a lot of the bet folds. You know, like you have some hands like king, queen with a spade, which you may want to call or something, but generally it's a board texture where you don't really have many hands, but you want to call off these stack sizes, I think.
Is this another example where you might disagree with solvers that, you know, would flat a lot of 7x and raise a lot of 9x?
Well, I don't think you'd have like, I mean, if you're deeper, it's a little bit different, but like the way that the SPR is now, especially after he's bet 3 big blinds, is that like on the turn, it's going to be like 12 big blinds in the pot and we're going to have like 11 or something like that. But if you had 20 big blinds, sure, I would do a lot more calling.
Right.
Because you don't want to get like your bad flush draws in against better flush draws when you're like 25, 35 big blinds deep. But I mean, we can say we have basically like 11 big blinds here because he's used like a larger sizing.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be any like raise folding or like anything like that going on. Raise calling, we're just going to be jamming when we be aggressive, I think.
Cool.
I think I agree that it's a clear check shove, but is there any argument to like, obviously like all these overpairs and that he's stepping off, but like his flush draws, like if you call and there's a brick on the turn and then you just jam, like don't leave the turn, he might not call the turn.
Do we want to be check calling?
That'd be a little bit unorthodox going for the check call donk shove. I think when you shove the flop, you can even call like ace king, ace queen. I mean, there's so many draws out there. If he does have a hand like ace king, then I mean, I would never. If I had ace king and I bet and you shoved, I would be snapping you off. So
yeah. So by unorthodox, you mean bad?
No.
Like saying bad.
I just mean unorthodox.
Yeah.
So
I obviously get extremely lucky.
Could lead the turn very small.
Oof.
Yeah, like this hand ace queen is going to call when you shove.
Yeah.
And like, which turn cards would you like shove?
Yeah.
Would feel like
I think in my head I was thinking something probably like getting too fancy, like say he's got 2 spades, and then you like thinking exactly what I just said, and then like you just like jam the turn. Like
he's not going to fold the flush draw on the turn when you go in.
Yeah. We're too shallow as well. Yeah, I was just getting overly fancy, I think, and it's just a clear check shove, isn't it?
Cool, good stuff. So we've gone for an hour and a half. I think we're if everyone's happy to wrap things up there.
Yeah.
And we can leave some more hands for future review sessions, future guests as well. Then we've got some closing thoughts. I'll just say thanks, Pads, for coming on. Thanks, boys, as well for being here. And I think there's been some really excellent discussion and some very different views on a lot of these spots. And I guess it just shows the importance of reviewing with not just with yourself all the time, but with different people with different viewpoints. So I think it's been very, very useful. Anyone want to add anything?
I do. I think it was just like hugely insightful in the fact that the way that Patrick articulated his hands and the depth of which he went, like we were, 1 or 2 levels that sometimes at best deep in understanding a hand, and he saw, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 different other reasons to support why he should be doing something. And I thought, and that's one of the reasons why he's one of the best in the world, and we're grinding low to mid stakes, but articulating hands and understanding that extra depth just shows how far we've got to go, and how much improvement we've got to make, and it's certainly given me a bit of a kick up the arse.
I would say generally, like, I wouldn't be like daunted by it. I think most of the stuff is like very logical. It's just like what's the pros and what's the cons, you know? I think most people, like, I mean, I've definitely gone through periods of my career where I've, like, went back a step because I've tried to, like, overcomplicate things and, like, listen sometimes to the way solvers would say or other things would say, rather than just looking at the pure, like, pros and cons. If you just go through every single decision, like, what's the pros and what's the cons, generally you're going to come out with the right decision, you know? Like, one outweighs the other, generally, I'd say.
Yeah, and I know that when we play, like, higher stakes, especially online, like, we often overcomplicate things and think that people are playing extremely, extremely well, and kind of, you know, unexploitable. And clearly from the insight you've just given there, that's not actually the case. So we should probably be a little bit more confident and stick to our, you know, some of our standard strategies and logic, as you say.
For sure. Be confident.
Really appreciate that, Pads. Really good of you to take the time.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot, Pads.
UK guys as well. It's very, I don't know, it's weird. Like at higher stakes, there's very few UK guys, so it's nice to see lots of hungry UK guys to me as well. Because you see the Swedish guys and the German guys and the Austrian guys, but there's not really like a crew of like UK guys who have like came up before, you know. So hopefully you guys can stick together and climb up the ranks together. That would be nice to see for sure.
Oh, that's
Appreciate
great.
that, man.
Yeah,
Hope so.
very cool.
Cheers, Pads. Appreciate that, bud.
Nice
Hi,
one.
guys.
Okay,
Thanks a lot.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
See you soon.
we're going to sign off. If you haven't
Cheers.
done already, hit the follow button, and yeah, we'll see you again very, very soon. Peace out.